If you've heard of the All Blacks, you've surely seen the haka, that powerful, passion-filled dance that has become a symbol of New Zealand around the world. But did you know that this dance has its roots in Maori mythology, a world populated by gods and goddesses who rule everything from the vast oceans to the starry skies? In the Maori pantheon, each deity tells us a story, one that speaks to the elements of nature and the human condition. It is these stories that have shaped Maori culture over the centuries, and in today's video, we will try to learn a little more about their mythology. Number 1. Ranginui and Papatuanuku. In Maori cosmogony is the story of the love and separation of Ranginui and Papatuanuku, the Sky Father and the Earth Mother. This story not only tells of the creation of the world according to Maori tradition, but also shows the intimate relationship Maori have with nature and their environment. Ranginui, or Rangi, he represents the vast sky. He is the Heavenly Father, the sky god who covers and protects the earth. Papatuanuku, or Papa, she is the Mother Earth, the deity who gives life and nurtures all that exists upon her. She is solid, fertile, and eternal. In the beginning, Rangi and Papa were in an eternal embrace, completely united, with their children trapped in darkness between them. This darkness and confinement began to frustrate the sons, who longed for light and room to move. The bravest son, Tane Mahuta, god of forests and light, decided to separate his parents in order to free his siblings and bring light into the world. With a titanic effort, Tani pushed Rangi up and lifted Papa down, thus creating the world as we know it. Though separated, the love between Rangi and Papa never waned. It is said that the rain falling from the sky are Rangi's tears, crying for his beloved Papa, while the tremors and earthquakes are Papa's responses, feeling the same longing. Number 2. Tain Mahuta. Tain is one of the most prominent and revered figures in Maori mythology. He is the god of forests, wildlife, and more broadly, creation. As you unravel his story, he reveals himself not only as a divine creator, but also as a representation of the cycle of life and the connection between all living things. Tain is one of the children of Rangi, the father sky, and Papa, the mother earth. He was born in the period when the two were intertwined in an eternal embrace. As we saw earlier, it was Tane who, seeking light and space, took on the arduous task of separating his parents. Using his shoulders and back, he pushed Rangi up and left Papa down, creating the space between heaven and earth and allowing light to flood the world. In his role as creator, he is also responsible for the formation of the first human being. He took clay from the earth and formed the figure of a woman, whom he named Hineahuan. By giving her life with a divine breath through her nostrils, humanity was created. He ascended to the heavens to bring the 3 kete, or baskets of knowledge, to the world, which also makes him the god of knowledge and the arts. Number 3. Tangaroa. In the Maori pantheon, the vast and mysterious realm of the ocean is ruled by Tangaroa, the god of the sea. His domain encompasses not only the ocean depths, but also the beings that inhabit it and the forces that move it. By immersing oneself in the history and influence of Tangaroa, one can appreciate the deep relationship the Maori have with the sea. He is one of the principal sons of Rangi and Papa. In some versions of Maori mythology, after Tane separated his parents, Tangaroa became one of Tane's main antagonists due to competition for supremacy between the forest and the sea. As the god of the sea, Tangaroa rules over the waters and all that lives in them. Fish and other sea creatures are considered his children. Maori often invoke Tangaroa before setting out on sea voyages or while fishing, seeking his protection and blessing. Number 4. Tahira Matea, often known simply as Tahiri, is an imposing figure in Maori mythology, personifying the strength and power of the atmospheric elements. As the god of winds, storms, and other weather phenomena, his influence is felt in the fury of a storm or the gentle caress of a breeze. He is another of Rangi and Papa's sons. When his brothers conspired to separate their parents and bring light into the world, Tauhiri was the only one who opposed. He was deeply distressed by the idea of separating his parents and for this reason became antagonistic to several of his siblings after the separation. He vowed that he would make his anger felt through violent winds and storms. After the separation, he ascended to heaven to live with his father, and from there, he controls the various winds, from those that caress gently to those that devastate with force. He had several clashes with his siblings due to his disagreement with the separation of his parents. He fought against Tain, the god of the forest, felling trees and raising the landscape. He also challenged Tangaroa, the god of the sea, churning the waters with storms. However, his most notable conflict was with Tumanga, the god of war and humanity, who resisted and defied the storms. Number 5. Tumanga. Tumanga, often abbreviated simply as Tu, is a predominant figure in Maori cosmogony, representing war, human conflict, and indomitable courage. His presence in mythology reflects the combative and resilient aspect of the human spirit. As one of the primordial gods, he witnessed the period when his parents were bound together so closely that their embrace imprisoned the children in the darkness between them. During the time when the children of Rangi and Papa were arguing about how to separate their parents and bring light into the world, Tumanga proposed that they should kill their parents. However, it was Tana who suggested pushing them away, raising the sky and leaving the earth below. Although it was Tane's idea that was carried out, Tu's combative and decisive nature was manifested in his more radical proposal. After the separation of his parents, while other siblings found peaceful ways to occupy themselves, Tumanga, angered by his brother's resistance to his original plan, decided to make them pay. He learned the art of war and subjugated his siblings, turning them into sustenance and tools for humans. For example, he taught the humans to fish, thus subjugating Tangaroa, the god of the sea, and to hunt, thus dominating Tana, god of the forests. Number 6. Haia Tiik. Unlike his brothers, who represent elements such as the wind, the sea, or the forest, Haia symbolizes the nutrition that comes directly from the ground. He is the god who rules over the plants that people harvest without sowing, representing the natural and spontaneous provision of Papa. He is the patron of wild plants and crops, especially tree fern, an iconic New Zealand plant, and kumara, a type of potato. Like his siblings, Haia Tiik faced the wrath of Toiri, the god of weather, after the separation of his parents. To protect herself from Toiri's raging winds and storms, Haia hid in Papa's body, symbolizing the intimate connection between vegetables and the earth. Number 7. Ruamoko. Ruamoko is one of the most distinctive figures in the Maori pantheon. He represents the subterranean forces and convulsions of the earth, being the personification of earthquakes, volcanic activity, and geothermal forces. He is the youngest son of Rangi and Papa. His birth and existence have a peculiarity. He never emerged from Papa's womb, and therefore remains inside her, which explains his influence on internal earth forces. The seismic and volcanic activity of New Zealand, known for its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire, is attributed to Ruamoko. According to tradition, the Earth's movements are caused by him tumbling around inside Papa's womb. New Zealand's geographic location, with its constant geothermal and tectonic activity, makes this a particularly relevant deity. Number 8. Weiro. Weiro holds an important place in the Maori pantheon, but not for being a benevolent or protective entity, but quite the opposite. He is the personifier of darkness, death, deceit, and all things malevolent, being an antagonistic figure in Maori cosmogony. Weiro is one of the sons of Rangi and Papa. Although he is the brother of other more benign divinities, his nature is notably different, leading him to be the main adversary of Tain, the god of forests and light. Weiro and Tain were in constant conflict, representing the eternal struggle between light and dark, good and evil. While Tani sought to uplift humanity and bring knowledge and light to the world, Weiro sought to counter these efforts and drag humanity into darkness and deception. After being defeated by Tane in a series of mythical battles, Weiro descended into the underworld, carrying lost souls with him and causing disease and misfortune in the world of the living. According to some tribes, when people die, their bodies descend to the underworld where they are devoured by Weiro. Each time Weiro eats a body, he becomes stronger. This process will eventually make him powerful enough to break free from the underworld, at which point he will surface and devour everything and everyone. Number 9. Honi. Honi, whose name is often translated as Earth Woman or Woman Formed from Earth, has a significant role in Maori mythology, representing the creation of the first woman and thus the beginning of humanity. The story of Honi begins with Tani Mahuta. Although Tain had helped separate her parents to create the world, she felt a deep emptiness at not having offspring or companionship with whom to share her existence. With this desire in his heart, Tain fashioned Honi using the red mud from the ground, infusing her with vital essence and bringing her to life with a kiss. In this way, Honi became the first woman. From the union between Tain and Honi, a daughter named Haia Tiik was born. In time, Haia Tiik would play a central role in other Maori legends, later becoming Hinanui, the goddess of the underworld. Before watching the last member of this list, if you have come this far and you liked the video, is a good time for you to leave your like, share it with someone who might be interested, and leave your comment. This is a great way to support me so that YouTube, that god of internet mythology, recommend me to more people. Number 10. Hinanui. Hinanui, whose name can be translated as the Great Lady of the Night, is a central figure in Maori mythology, personifying death and the underworld. Her role in Maori cosmogony is essential to understanding the cycle of life, death, and rebirth in Maori tradition. As we saw earlier, she was originally born as Hain Titama, the daughter of Tain. However, discovering that her husband Tain was also her father, overwhelmed by shame and grief, she fled to the underworld. There, she transformed herself into Hinanui and assumed her role as guardian of the dead. In her subway realm, she receives the souls of the deceased and oversees their transition into the afterlife. She is charged with ensuring that the spirits of the dead do not return to the world of the living and disturb the natural balance. One of her most famous stories is her encounter with the demigod hero Maui. Maui, known for his mischief and desire for immortality for mankind, attempted to enter the body of the goddess while she slept, believing that by doing so he would defeat death. However, he was betrayed by a bird that laughed at his audacity and awakened Hinanui. She, realizing Maui's intention, killed him, confirming the inevitability of death for all human beings.